Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have you a 3 vs 3 on Odon River, and in this one I'm going to be playing with the 91st Luftlande after somebody requested it. I'm going to be playing with Haymaker and Val once again, who are going to be playing the 17th SS Panzergrenadier and the 352nd. So today this is the second of a few games that I played with Haymaker and Val, and just going to put it out there that it's quite a short one, but in general there was a lot of really fun and interesting play that went on throughout the game, so that's why I decided to bring it to you guys today. Playing against Thraxar once again. He's come back to try for round 2 to beat our trio, and then he's joined by Random 23333 and Boo, who are using the 1st SSB and 101st Airborne. Thraxar there on the 3rd Canadian. Not sure if I already mentioned that or not. But either way, I was pretty confident with the 91st Luftlande against these divisions, especially on a map like this where the hedgerows are just far enough apart that Fallschirmjägers generally have the advantage over close range infantry like the 1st SSB and 101st provides. They could use smoke, obviously, to get close, but smoke isn't something that you can necessarily rely on from both myself or the opponents. So being able to just engage at a longer range is something that generally happens, and smoke is not often used correctly. So we're going to keep it from my perspective, as there is like the plays that I want to talk about throughout the game. Now I was going to be basically given the middle. Between these attack markers was where I was placing my troops. Then on my right side I have Val with his 352nd, and on my left side I have Haymaker with his 17th SS Panzergrenadier. So let's take a quick look at the units that I have down. So I've got an MG accompanied by a command and a Fallschirmjäger squad for the left side. That's going to be joined by a Stuh 42, an AT gun and another Fallschirmjäger. Now one thing that is actually quite good to show off on this map in particular is a positioning for this Pak 40. So that Pak 40 has 1,200 meter range, and it's a really good and useful AT gun to have. Now I was thinking, what if you put it in this tree line? Now you can see it has pretty much maximum range from left to right. Obviously you've got to be covering it from the top side from any infantry that might walk down the river. However, if you've got it there and it isn't contested or isn't artied, that's going to get a bunch of kills. So I really wanted to try it out, try and get the Pak 40 into that position. But as you can see, the game is underway, and mine and Val's units are fighting for the road down here, as we did deploy a lot of units here. But that's just so that they can spread out on the right side of the river. Now you don't really want to force any of your units to cross across the river here because the road's kind of dodgy. There is a road that goes across the river and then up the right side of the river just there, and you can sort of fast move over to the right side here as well, but I'm pretty sure it's generally faster to just go from this main road. Now that does actually leave you quite vulnerable to a Pathfinder, for example, from the 6th Airborne, but in this case not going to happen because there isn't a 2nd Airborne on the enemy team, so didn't have to worry about having all of our units so close together. Now Val is going to be dropping off his Pak 38 there. He's got his 120mm mortar already firing. I've got a bunch of Ersatztruppen moving up to the left side, and they're actually going to be taking on Thraxar's rifles. Now aside from all that, just getting the rest of these units to unload. Got the MG-IG combo with the command infantry and some more ersatz. And then on this left side we're going with the more elite infantry. Although we do have like an ersatz squad there just to back them up. This Fallschirmjäger managing to use that road to get all the way up here, which is really nice. Also have this Stuh 42 on the way. That will be able to cover my left flank very well against a lot of the AT guns that they can present against us. Now I did mention to Haymaker that he would need to hold this compound in order to prevent a lot of pressure on this left side. However, fortunately for us, Val's managed to get quite a lot of ground on this right side already, since it looks as though Random was very focused on this town engagement. And my lord, was there a lot of commando units here. Commando supports, Commando Fusilier Marines, you got the Scout Squad back there, and the MG42 is doing a lot of work. Mainly due to the 120mm mortar just being able to pin down all of these commando supports and allow the MG42 to fire elsewhere. But now we even have the Centaur and the Sherman 2 coming down the road. Now this is fine, as long as there's not this Panzerschreck here. And that Panzerschreck is going to take out the Sherman. It's also got a pretty good chance of taking out the Centaur if it gets line of sight. And the Panzerschreck most certainly does. Panzerschrecks are not Piats. They can hit their targets, and both the Centaur and the Sherman go down. Now, yeah, generally against the 352nd, if they neglect Panzerschrecks, that would have been a really good move. But in this case, not so much, because the Panzerschrecks were there. People don't often forget AT, and it kind of left Random with a lot less troops than he would have otherwise have. Now my Stuh 42 has been doing work. I've now got the IG-18 on target here as well to help the Fallschirmjägers. Fallschirmjägers are getting charged by the Stormtroopers though, as that's coming up to help out. Also got this Pack 40 slowly moving over to the right side as well. Fallschirmjägers there actually take a Stormtrooper grenade to the face. They couldn't actually see the Stormtroopers when that happened, because what you can do with the Stormtroopers is lob grenades even though they're in smoke. On this left side we are being pushed back by airborne engineers. The Stoss troop just didn't have the range, and when they did, the airborne engineers beat them at that range. So Haymaker actually ended up losing that little compound on the left side there, but I'm just coming up with some more ersatz to supplement. I also have some recon on the way now, and you can see the ersatz taking on the Stormtroopers. I'm hoping that the ersatz could take out those before the Vickers MG did the job, but unfortunately ersatz are going to be pinned down there because HMG alongside the Stormtroopers can do a ton of damage. But at close range, 2-star veterancy, Fallschirmjäger is going to pick off the Stormtroopers very quickly. We've also got the Pack 40 firing at the Ram. We get the driver knocked out there, which means he can't move, and that gives us plenty of time on target in order to get the kill. Lovely jubbly. Pack 40 doing the job. That's already paid itself off as well, and it's still on its way, attack moving to the location that I originally identified, so that's quite funny. Now there is a couple of commando supports coming up here. I believe they were trying to deal with the ersatz troop, and generally that would have been quite a good idea, having these two commando supports kill off the ersatz, but I have Fallschirmjägers already here, and Val's MG42 from the church already doing a fantastic job. Now if you can't win infantry versus infantry fights as the first SSB, then you're going to be in a bit of trouble throughout the rest of the game, and there the IG-18 also getting shots onto those commando units. Aside from all that, moving up this Fallschirmjäger, they do get absolutely wrecked by the Wasp there. But now I have a Fallschirmabwehr coming up in order to provide some like AT support, especially with all these units coming down the road. Now a couple of Stormtroopers are coming in from this left side, and they're going to be trying to run down my MG34, but I'm not going to let that happen. I have a Fallschirmjäger coming up, and I know that I can just simply outrange them in this scenario. So they're going to be dropping them off there and getting them into this building, and that's going to give them the perfect range, the 400-meter range they need to engage with both of these MG34s. Spitfire is also going to be used by Thraxar to try and pin down my Pack 40, which was a good choice since obviously there is 0 AA here. But I am just going to be withdrawing with that Pack 40 straight away, and he's going to be focusing elsewhere with that anyway. IG-18 going to be pinned down there in order to save Leo Major. Now meanwhile, Stuh 42 still hammering the Vickers HMG. I believe enemy shot did come in from the Centaur there to take out my IG, which was rather rude. We have managed to force back these Stormtroopers. So Stuh 42 having a field day. hasn't really had anything threatening against it just yet. Since my VulcanHDGaming in the mid died though, bringing up a new squad, and again at the range, the VulcanHDGers can definitely kill off these stormtroopers. Thraxar knows how to use smoke though, so as you can see he is using the smoke grenades there to cover off against the Stuh 42. MG34 though, not finished with these stormtroopers on the left side. The reason my Stuh 42 is actually reversing here is so that I don't allow this expander to get too close, because if it does, then it will penetrate my Stuh 42 quite not handily. So on the right side, Osttroopen engages some rifles with the help of the Feldpanzer III. The town's basically fully controlled by Val. We're sitting at the 54% territory lead, so it's not going too bad. But as you can see, we've got some troops in some pretty decent spots right now. I've got this Pack 40 in exactly the place I want it to be. We've got the Stuh 42 not allowing itself to be killed by the 6-pounder, and as Thraxar moves up with his 6-pounders to take me out, he actually leaves himself vulnerable to this MG34 and the Pack 40, which then allows me to bring across the Stuh 42 to finish the job. Now my VulcanHDGers on this left side were doing quite a decent job throughout this game, however they were completely hammered by artillery. Now what we're seeing here is another VulcanHDG coming up. We've already got one here, but that's to try and deal with some of the stormtroopers in the mid. And then further to that, we've got an Ersatztruppen that's going to suicide charge across the field. So in our current position, we've just taken out 2 of these AT guns, which frees up my Stuh 42 to do whatever he wants. Panzer Abwehr takes out the Vickers HMG. And we did manage to get a nice kill onto the Lloyd carrier on the road with the Panzer Abwehr as well. I was getting a little bit annoyed with this Leo Major sniper. It was doing quite a lot of damage. I decided to bring up my ME-109 to rocket the crap out of him. They do actually bring up a Spitfire Mark 9 to do the job, but the rockets still land and we still kill Leo Major. Now my ME-109 can engage in a dogfight with the Spitfire Mark 9, whilst Val brings in his own ME-109G0 to give me a hand. And one thing that happened over on this left side was my VulcanHDGers got into a really good position, because they're able to shoot at anything that comes across this orchard. Like even stormtroopers in this location will suffer against VulcanHDGers unless they use their smoke. Now Val's ME-109 actually ended up shooting down the other Spitfire, but now my ME-109 is on the table of the Seafire and we're going to shoot that down. But then Val decides to bring in a second ME-109G0 as Random brings in his own Seafire F3, and I've also got an ME-109G6R6, and that was a lovely bunch of kills there. I also have the ME-109 come across and strafe the Vickers HMG to finish that off. There's a lot of 1 health infantry squads about, so we can get a lot of kills. Now the 25-pounder from Thraxar are finally going to deal with the Pack 40, however that's not necessarily causing issues at the moment. It's more the fact that these Ersatztruppen are winning an engagement against stormtroopers, especially with the assistance of these VulcanHDGers. Now Ersatztruppen end up surrendering just as the VulcanHDGers come about. We finally see some AA brought up, but I'm just going to avoid that, send my ME-109 over to take out the Hellcat, and we're going to be shooting down that Hellcat after Val engages it with the ME-109G0s, and I'm also going to be able to get onto the back of this Seafire and hopefully shoot that down as well. ME-109 having an absolute turkey shoot. And you can imagine why this game did not last very long. That's 4 air kills for my ME-109 G2 or G6R6 in a matter of minutes. Really, really good job. I'm not sure if they were all on the same plane. I think the ME-109 G6 or G2 BR-21 actually got a couple of the kills. But either way, 4 air kills in a very short space of time. definitely does the job. And I was hoping to use more aircraft throughout this game since I am playing the Luftlande. They're coming in with another rocket strike, trying to take out the Staghound AA. As that Staghound AA gets forced to fall back, and we're going to rush forwards with the Panzer Abwehr, take out the stormtroopers, and also get a Panzer strikes towards the Staghound AA. And we are going to take it out. So Panzer Abwehr just in such a good position there, getting the ambush off, as I managed to pull off the stun onto those units. Now 2 Fallschirmjäger squads able to help pin down the rifles, but with Boo surrendering on the left side and Random already surrendering. Unfortunately, Thraxar can't really do too much with 2 AIs on his flank, and respectively he does end up surrendering. So it was a bit of a shame. I wanted to develop more airplay in this to do with the 91st Luftlande, especially considering it was a deck that was requested. But after such a beating the enemy took in the early phases, and with such air domination, things were never going to go their way. And after 12 minutes and 56 seconds, that is a minor victory. An absolutely spectacular start for our divisions. And, well, when your Stuh 42 picks up 4 6-pounder kills, that is pretty damn insane. We also see the ME-109G2 BR-21 picking up the C-Fire kill, ME-109G6R6 picking up a C-Fire Hellcat and another C-Fire there. So just bunch of kills all round, and unfortunately for Thraxar, his flanks failing him, and took a lot of damage in the centre as well. Now we didn't take too much damage ourselves. Centaur did manage to kill off the IG-18 and one of our Ersatztruppen, and the M1 howitzers were also helping out kill off a couple of the Ersatz I sent over to help Haymaker. But as you can see, it's pretty much all I lost. Mostly Ersatztruppen, a couple of Fallschirmjäger in there, IG-18 in the Pak 40, but that's it. And that's going to be 335 losses with 1,445 kills in a solid 12 minutes or 13 minutes more or less. So there you go. Pretty insane game. Very clinical, I felt. It wasn't necessarily one of those games that were just kind of a rollover. It was more a game that I felt that was just like clinically executed, and was really nice to play and hopefully quite fun to watch. Didn't drag on more than it had to, when we clearly had a huge advantage throughout that game. But there you go. Hopefully a good video for you guys. Hopefully you're appeased with some 91st Luftlande gameplay. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.